Hey loves, it's Britt doing my Venus-Mars Synastry aspect series, and in this video I'm going to talk about what it means to have the trine between Venus and Mars in Synastry. So if your Venus is trine with someone's Mars or vice versa. So this might be my favorite aspect of them all, although I like all the aspects. This is probably the gentlest aspect where it's actually so smooth and harmonious, the exchange here between Venus and Mars when they're in trine, that you might not even notice it right away. So this is one of the ones that really can add a level of compatibility that shows over time, where naturally you just have a great chemistry, and the Venus person naturally goes with the Mars person's lead and in a very flowing way. Like they can naturally become a bit more passive in this relationship, but they both can. It can switch too, but with this one, I feel like the Venus person especially can really enjoy the Mars person's advances, or just their general energy, and then they naturally want to be like a follower, like a me too, okay, let's go. Like, and the Mars person says, yeah, let's do this, and the Venus person says, wow, that would be great, that would feel great. And they there's just like this natural easy flow here when we have Venus, Mars, and trine. And yeah, like so much so that it's not like the conjunction where you see each other from across the crowded room, right? I always say that, and you're like, oh my god, I need to just like attack this person in a sexual way. It's not like that with the trine. It's more like if there's already a relationship happening for whatever reason, as you're interacting with them, you more and more realize, like, wow, I really enjoy this interaction. The Mars person feels very turned on by the Venus person, and how the Venus person just naturally goes with what they are directing. And then the Venus person feels so much pleasure in the Mars person, like they just could eat them. But if not like that, but like they just like it's like a delicious dance here, when we have this aspect. And you know, the only thing about it that could be negative here is that they both so naturally like want to please the other, and like you could become too passive with this one, or you could naturally go along with something that maybe that wasn't really what you wanted, but it just felt so good in the moment that you just went along with it, right? And the other thing, like with this one, is you're very similar, and you know, sometimes when we're too similar with someone, or there's this easy flow that's just so easy for some people, like that are more Aryan or Martian or Plutonian types, this could be maybe more boring than the square. Like maybe those types of people would prefer the square, the conjunction, the opposition between Venus and Mars, because there's more tension. Like if they were all the aspects were a dance, this one would be like an easy, like flowing, you know, slow dance or whatever. And then like the square would be like one of those, I don't know, crazy active dances where the one's putting her over his head, and like it's just like wild. But this one is just a more easy flow, right? And so like sometimes when charts are too easy, people get bored, right? So that's like that would be the only negative. And maybe the other negative being that we go along with things too easily with this person because it just feels so good. It just flows. I mean, their Mars is activating your Venus, and you just want to go along with it because wow, that's a turn on. And then the Mars person is like, wow, that Venus person, they'll do anything I say. And so it can be too passive or too easy, right? Because it doesn't bring up the aggressive instincts of Mars like in the other aspects, where the Mars person like you know, fully dominates or asserts over the Venus person. It's more gentle, and it's more just like a noticeable feeling inside, where the Mars person is like, wow, I think the Venus person could be exactly what I need sexually, but this is such a pleasant interaction. I'm not going to just act on them in that way until I know it's, you know, other things are going on, that it's safe, right? So the trine doesn't create that like acting out of character as much, like as some of the other aspects would, where the people just get really aggressive and like, yeah, it doesn't create that buzz as the other aspects. It's just a gentle, easy flow. It's great for like a creative collaboration. You work well together. If this is a business relationship, the energies flow really well, and you can accomplish a lot, and you're really compatible creatively. You can both express yourself better together. Like the Mars person can be a better version of their Mars, and the Venus person can be a better version of their Venus. And you can look at the sign and the house placement of each, you know, natal Venus and Mars, and that's really getting they're getting a easy flowing expression that they wouldn't have without this relationship, this aspect. So it's a great creative collaboration. Like that could even be the title of this video. I probably won't put that as the title because I'll think of something more fun and exciting, but it is that. It's a creative collaboration, and that keyword collaboration is really a big part of it here. When we have Venus, Mars, and Trine, this is a collaboration. This is a team effort. This is teamwork. And naturally, one person will take the passive role and the other person will take the active role, and there will be no fighting over that. There will be no fighting over who's who, right? That we can see in the square, or even the conjunction at times. This one, we naturally know when to take the lead and when to not. And so like it is kind of like a dance, right? Where we have a great chemistry, we have a great flow with the person, and we naturally, because with dancing, like one person's more active, one person's passive. It's like the natural masculine, feminine energies, right? And that could be, and it doesn't matter who's who in this one so much. It's like, I mean, the Mars person is going to be naturally more of the dominant one, but like with this one, we so easily will just kind of switch and go with the flow here. It's a very easy, harmonious one, and really good for all types of relationships. Really good for a love relationship, of course, because it's just that like steady compatibility and that ability to like get along. Like Venus is a big part of getting along with someone. Like if our Venus is making harmonious aspects to someone in someone's chart, we want to get along with them because we love them. We find pleasure in them. We find them valuable. And then when someone is making positive aspects to our Mars, we feel like we can be ourselves. We feel like we can express that natural primal side of us and be accepted. So the Mars person really feels like, you know, they can be themselves. And if it is a sexual relationship, the Mars person gets a pretty good intuitive sense that the Venus person could be exactly what they need sexually. And then it's both ways, but especially the Mars person is feeling the more sexual response and feeling like they will be understood. They won't be rejected, right? Like, so when we have difficult Mars aspects, there's like a feeling of like that our desires and our instinctual sexual energy is going to be shamed or shut down by the other person. And when we have this aspect, we don't have that sense. We know that we are the same there because the element, and you want to look at the element, like, so is it fire? Then we both know that our sexuality and our love expression is like this fiery burst of enthusiasm. Or is it water? We both know that we can emotionally and intuitively be there and be receptive to each other. Is it air? Great flow, great communication, ideas being generated, a more mental sexuality. Or is it earth? Practical, down to earth. We both are solid for each other. We're both, loving like that. So you look at the element, you look at the houses, you look at the natal states of each Venus and Mars here, the Venus person, the Mars person, and that's where they're getting a really ease and flow happening here in a creative collaboration, which is yeah, a really good aspect to have. Underrated aspect, because it's so easy, and like, yeah, it's not the one, you're not going to just be pulled to each other because of this. Like maybe there's something else going on, like some Pluto stuff or whatever, that will pull you together. But then if you have this, you can be sure that you are sexually compatible and you are able to get along, because you know, you naturally can either put your own ego aside, or yeah, you have that flow of between selfishness and receptiveness, and you can really, yeah, get along with this one. So it's a good one to have. And it definitely can have sparks, and more sparks can come over time. It's interesting, like the square, more, I feel like the sparks are really intense at the beginning, and then you realize you're not compatible. With this one, it's like there's less sparks at the beginning because you're just like having a normal relationship where it's not like aggressively sexual or anything. But then as time builds, or as time goes on, the sexual attraction builds, and you realize you actually are really compatible and you do speak each other's language, and it's just natural, right? So good one to have. And yeah, I'm going to do all of the Venus-Mars aspects, and then I'll do Venus-Mars and the composite chart too as my first composite chart aspects, because I know you guys requested that. And yeah, I'd love to hear your experiences with this one. And I do offer one-on-one sessions. My links are below. And yeah, love you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.